Hello everybody, this is a Lamley unboxing. No cases today. Packs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 packs to open today. I've been accumulating these over time. It's one of those things. Do you do the same thing I do? You walk into a store, you check the pegs, you look at the premium, you look at the basic, you kind of see what's going on. But I always look at the 8-packs. Sometimes there's something new. Sometimes there's an error or a cool variation, but I always look. Do you do the same? I do. And occasionally I buy them. And my whole theory is if there's a model that I am collecting or a model that I'm impressed with, I snag the pack. Or I might wait and kind of see. You probably do the same thing too. It's like, oh, I don't like that assortment. Maybe there'll be a different assortment where I can get 2 or 3 more. Well, these are all packs that I've decided to buy. And they've been sitting on my shelf, and it's time for me to open them and pick out the ones that I'm going to put in the collection and the ones that I'm going to do other things with. So let's get to it. Some of these are from like last year at least. Some of them are fairly new, and we just need to open them up. I also there's a couple models here that I will kind of add to the collection. I don't think we have to kind of go through this, but here's kind of the deal with these packs. If you're not you're familiar with the packs, I'm sure, but kind of the philosophy of these packs. Some of these are standard mainline cars that were, released over time. There's always an exclusive to the pack, meaning this is exclusive to this specific 8-pack. And in fact, you've got I think from this year, maybe this is from last year. Look, even the boxes are different. So one of these might be, I don't know, one of these might be last year's and this year. But they'll do exclusive colors that only come with 8-packs. And then they'll do like exclusive multi-pack models that will kind of be interspersed in these packs that might show up in 3-packs, 8-packs, 20-packs. These will only be 8-packs. The rest you just might find somewhere else. They kind of randomly make it out. And then others are just leftovers from the basic cards. So I think I don't know which one I did first. I bought this one because there was a model in here that I knew I wanted, the Skyline being one, and then there's one other one. So we're just going to open this up. We're going to open at least 60 cars today, or we're not going to pay attention to 60 cars. We'll be here forever. All right. This one's a multi-pack exclusive. That's not what we're worried about. I think this one is too. A lot of times they'll take decos from previous releases and do alternate colors, and we'll actually see that here on a couple that I'm going to be adding to the collection. These plain color ones, I think that, well, anyway, we'll get to it. Here's one. I'm a big fan of the McLaren Speed Tail. This one, like I said, I don't remember when I bought this pack. Could have been over a year ago, could have been longer, could have been shorter. I have no idea, but the McLaren Speed Tail is a casting that I collect, and they have added this one as one of those multi-pack exclusives that kind of finds its way to 3-packs or 8-packs or whatever. And there's actually 2 of them. So I'm going to put this white one off to the side over here for a second. Here's one that's, I would assume and consider an alternate color of the original. This is a Lamborghini Centenario Roadster. And then here is the Skyline. Let me talk about the Skyline for a second. So it's exclusive. Throw that away. It's exclusive to this pack. Now, this casting is fairly new. We've seen it in Silver Series, but to kind of give you a sense of which one it is, here's the Fast and Furious version from several years ago that was released in one of the Fast and Furious sets. And this is the original Junimai casting with the cooler on the outside. I think the headlight covers, a few other modifications, no bumpers on this, done in a modified. And then I don't know who did it, but they modified one for the later Fast and Furious line to give it more of a somewhat factory look. So the headlights come in. I'll show you that. Instead of the headlight covers, the intercooler's gone. Full-on front grille, rear bumper with taillights. So it's not this one. It's this one from Fast and Furious. And they've taken that casting and given it kind of a very simple Japanese racing deco. This does get taillights and the GTR logo. I think that is something that Nissan wants. So that's one right there. And I'm going to move this one out of the way. And then I'll add the other one here. So let's get this one open. So this is, I think these were, well, okay, so in this particular set, Again, I don't know what year we're looking at here. It's always hard to tell. This is 2024. The other one I threw far away, and I don't know what year it is. Yeah, we won't focus on these at all. I think this was a main line from last year. So was this. This one had me curious about whether I want to collect it. This Porsche casting, this is the, what is it, Porsche 911 GT2. This casting has been around a long time and has been frequently put as a multi-pack exclusive. And this one is a multi-pack exclusive, but it's exactly like a mainline release from, oh, well over 10 years ago, maybe 14 or 15 years ago. Slightly different shade of yellow, and it's the modified casting, meaning they ditched the plastic spoiler and added the metal spoiler. I don't have a ton of interest. Yeah, that's different for sure right there. You got the GT2 in black versus silver, so that's a change. I have no reason to have another black one with essentially the same wheels, so I'm going to keep my old one, and that one won't jump into the collection. Neither will the shark thing. This is one I'm just not that interested in the casting. I think I have the main version. This is the Cyan, right? Or Cyan? Cyan? Cool color, cool wheels, but I think this one is just a multi-pack exclusive as well. Now this one is one that I had some interest in. In fact, I should have done this video first, because I did that white body, white wheel set when I did the Honda Premium Car Culture diorama set. I did a car show with just white cars with white wheels, and had I remembered this Beetle in white with these cool white rims, it's such a cool look for this casting. This casting hasn't gotten a ton of attention. It kind of got put in as a, it's a mainline release, and then it got put in as a multi-pack. For years and years, it's been released in just these plain factory colors. But when it got these wheels, whatever you call them, it's now taken on a cool life of its own. We'll get to the other version of it here in a second. So I'm going to put this one off to the side as well. But yeah, should have included it in that white model, white rim. There's the other Skyline. So same deco, different color. I think there's only 2 versions of this. I think that's what they're doing right now, is 2 colors per year of these multi-pack exclusives. It's always hard to get to pinpoint exactly what they're doing. All right, so those are there. We'll push these cars over here. Got a lot to put in the pile. This is one that there was one specific car. In fact, I'll move these off to the side for a second. This pack I found at a Kroger, and it seemed like it had been there a while. It has kind of some little beat up. 2024, I think. 2023. I got it for this one. And I don't think this is supposed to be an 8-pack exclusive. I think that they reserved this BMW M4 for 20 packs. That's why I bought this 20 pack, was mainly for that. We'll get into some of the other cars here, but I wanted this one. I was like, well, that's there. It would seem very odd that someone would do a switch. I mean, you see that a lot where someone steals the exclusive and then replaces it with some basic. Who would have put that in there? No one would have. No one would have taken out the exclusive from this and then added another exclusive. So somehow this got there. I mean, if they did, they did, and I got fooled, but not one or the other. I'm getting this for cheaper. But maybe it was a multi-pack model. I never saw the green BMW as a multi-pack exclusive, except in this one I saw at Kroger. So I bought it. None of these other cars interest me. Of course, that doesn't. This was just a mainline. Cool one, but mainline. We'll get to this BMW in a little bit. Miata was a mainline from who knows when. So was the Jag. Oops. A little different from dropping things. No interest. Cool casting, but no interest. This one this would be considered a recolor of the original Lotus. This one became a super treasure hunt too. This was and it's nice, it's done nice with the taillights all done up. What is this? The Lotus Avia, I think. So that would be a decent one, but it's not a casting that I'm too interested in. I think I have the super treasure hunt and I'm fine with that. There's the BMW. So we'll get to this one once we open the 20-pack one. I'll talk through this casting. This is the one I wanted. It was there. If it was an 8-pack exclusive, great. I only saw it once, so maybe it was a rare one, and I was really happy to pick it up. I don't think anything's supposed to be any more rare other than doing the exclusives, trying to incentivize us to buy these. Here's another fairly old one. I don't know what year I'm seeing here. I'm looking. 2023 as well. Porsche is what I wanted, but yeah, there's a couple others here that are of interest. So let's set on this one. Obviously, if you are not aware, Hot Wheels used to do 10 packs, and they might still do 10 packs in other countries, but it then became 9 pack. They want to keep in that $10 range, but then eventually the cost, boy, this one is, the cost still went up, and so they're now in the $10 range, but they're 8 packs. So I think $10 is the sweet spot. They don't want a 10 pack for, what, 12 or 13 bucks. All right, let's get through a couple of these. This might have been a multi-pack exclusive. I can't remember. This was a mainline recolor of the Golf Aston Martin. This is one that I've considered because I really like this casting, the Gallardo casting, and it got banished to multi-pack, just multi, I don't know what you call it. I don't say banished. It means it gets released. This is nice and clean. I should collect it, and maybe I'll consider it, but there's other colors that, in fact, you can see one right there. This has been released in several colors as a multi-pack exclusive. I don't have them all, and because I don't have them all, I'm really happy to have the black and white versions that were the initial releases, but I'm going to put this off to the side. Here's that same Porsche I told you that it's been in 2 different forms as a multi-pack exclusive. There's been the plain colored one, like this yellow one, and there's been this one that's relatively plain color, only it has the center stripe, and there's been many, many variations of this one. And like I said, it's just so many, I'm not interested in keeping them, but they're kind of cool. Maybe I'll put them in a Whatnot show later on. Make up for the cost of these, right? There's that. Firebird is cool, but I don't need it. And this was the main reason I bought this one. Now we can do a full, complete McLaren show. We've got this Metal Flake blue version of that. So let's get to that. This Porsche, I actually already bought a pack to get this Porsche whenever it was out. There were 2 colors. There was blue and this mint green one. I have it in the collection already. So because I have an extra, we'll just put this in the extra pile over here. All right. Get rid of that. Let's talk about the McLaren Speed Tail. We've done the Skyline. I'm not going to worry about the premium. It's been a couple times in premium, I think, in the exotic and then in a diorama set. But the McLaren Speed Tail is, some consider it the successor to the F1. It's definitely unique, has one of the coolest silhouettes. And this casting is so beautifully done by Hot Wheels, just really showing the sleek lines of the Speed Tail. So this was the first edition, basic in blue. I'm going to, to keep room, I'm going to start it right over here. Recolor. Look how many, oh, you got to see these colors. So there we go. In fact, I'll go down just a little bit. And then just throughout the years, as a basic model, it's been released in several colors, mainly with using the aero style wheels for the front because it has the turbofan on it and the 10 spokes on the back, which essentially matches the real car. This might have been a mainline release. I can't remember. It could have been a multi-pack release. Then we had the multi-pack releases. This Metal Flake Blue was the first version. There's the white one we opened a little bit earlier. All have the same. They have the taillights done on the back. You can see it says Speed Tail. This little red stripe, clearly McLaren wanted that. And then the McLaren logo on the front. I think all of them, have the taillights. I think that was a requirement. And then, of course, after these, this year, you've got this kind of maroon color and that signature orange returns that burnt orange as one beautiful Super Treasure Hunt. Not bad, right? That's not even counting the basic or the premiums. And I'm sure we'll see other ones. I would love to see this model as a Zamac. It seems like a perfect candidate for one of those super clean Zamacs. So hopefully we get to see that. But I hope this continues on. And yeah, now I've got the multi-packs. I can't remember the purple one, like I said, but I think I am up to date on the Speed Tail, and I just love all these clean versions. So nice job. All right, I'm going to move these back here. Let's open this last one before we get to the 20 pack. Fairly recent. I think there's been a couple different colors of the Audi. I think there was yellow of the Audi R8 Spider. I like the casting. I should be collecting it. I've got the first edition in the Super Treasure Hunt, but I haven't collected anything else from that. Kind of feel like I should go back and get that yellow one because it's been a nice. And there was a couple of other special edition. I'm not worried about those. I just like these clean versions. So I mean, we can get that one out right now. It does look good. I don't know. I might consider this one. I'd have to find. I think I've seen the yellow around. I would just have to go get the yellow one because that's pretty nice actually. And there is the Super Treasure Hunt in blue, and then there was like a red and maybe a white version released in the main line. I'm going to put this one off to the side with the Beetle over here because I'd consider it. Mainline release, as you know. Mainline release. There was one main reason. This McLaren is actually a multi-pack release. And I don't collect that casting. I think I have the first edition. That one I don't collect. And here, I think this is a mainline release as well. So several of those. But the Beetle returns. And look at this. They're having fun with this Beetle now. See Bug Life on the white one too. Yep. So I really like the white with the white rims. And I really like the Zamac with the essentially Zamac. I mean, it's not Zamac rims, right? But this kind of these chrome rims. They did this Beetle right. For a casting that people just don't care that much about and that, you know, has been around forever. They did it right with this Zamac version. And I think that's pretty sweet. So we'll put that one here off to the side right there in my to be considered. But this is why I bought the pack. I bought it at a Dollar Tree, I think. Look what's become a multi-pack exclusive. Of all things, the Porsche Carrera RS is a multi-pack exclusive. Now, I'll keep the premiums out because we've seen two this year. We've seen the black one from Boulevard and the yellow one from Car Culture. And then there was a mystery model. Don't care about that because it's not a true, like it doesn't have the true Carrera RS deco. But this is a definite sequel to this family. This is an extension of what we've seen so far. And I love this. Carrera RS, there's your first release with that standard Carrera striping on the side. Ducktail, of course. Porsche detailing on the back. So we got this version in white. Then I think I might have this a little bit out of order, but I think the recolor was orange with the black stripe on the side. Of course, they did the headlights right too. They even included, whoever designed this, even included, I think part of the window is these markers here above the bumper, which really offer some nice brakes for a Porsche, which are hard to do. So then the next issue was yellow and then recolored in red. I think this was last year. And now, and I'm sure we're going to see more. I hope we do. I'll have to talk to Andre, who I think does most of the decos for these multi-packs. We're getting the exact same release in green with the black Carrera striping on the side. Same wheels and everything. Now, I think there was a way to differentiate. Yeah, this one had, the first edition had the 75 logo on it. This one did not. I think that was the only difference in these from one year to the next. But this one's not going to have the 75 logo for sure. So it could be considered an extension of the second version. But it doesn't really matter either way. Because now we have a fifth color, proper color of the Porsche Carrera RS. That's a no-brainer. And if they do another color, I'm getting it for sure. So really happy to see that one. Took me a minute to find it at a Dollar Tree, but once I did, I bought that pack. Let's get to the massive 20 pack. I got it for the BMW. I don't like spending 20 bucks on these, and it was probably more than that. But I did it anyway because I really like the M4. So we'll get these out. We'll finish off with a little M4 show, and then we'll call it a day. And then I'll accumulate a few more multi-packs later and we'll do it again. If you, oh, this was not a smart move on my part. I did not know that they were released. I guess I could have. It shows you how many times I've opened a 20 pack. I guess I could have pulled it out that way, but I didn't. So now we have a big pile of cars. All right. Let's just move these off to the side. I'm going to get these skylines over here. Mainline release, mainline release, maybe a mainline, maybe not actually. Definitely, I don't know. That might have been a mainline release, might have been. The unlicensed, we've already talked about the Beetle. There's a second version of the white one. That's kind of cool. Who cares? I mean, I don't want to say who cares, but not my style. Here's the second color of that Lamborghini, right? So where was that silver one? Oh, I said put it here because I was like considering it. So I now have two colors of this one, but there's several others. I'd have to look it up and see how many they've released of this particular car in other plain colors as multi-pack exclusives. But I might put these off to the side just to give them some consideration. These are cool, but don't need them. Already talked about that one. Oh, okay. I have this one. This is the Porsche 71 Porsche 911. I believe I already have one. This is an Andres design. And as you know, he did a sequel of this one with the GT3, same deco that he put in the main line. And he's been using this, we'll call it John Player inspired color combination on several models. We saw it on the BMW, Bentley this year. But yeah, he's been leaning into doing some cool decos, and this is a multi-pack exclusive. So I know I have it in the collection already, but I'm going to put it off to the side just in case. Here's another one of those yellow Porsches. Don't need that. Here was one of the 20-pack exclusives. They're doing two. I'm going to say no on the 918, only because I have the clean versions of this one, and I don't need the striping on this one. So I'm going to put it off to the side. Figure out a home for it to go to. This is actually a multi-pack exclusive. I'm happy to have the Civic Type Rs that I already have, but this one's fairly nice. I'd consider putting it in the collection, but I have the white and the black versions, or white and red versions, I think, so I don't need those. Don't need that. Don't need that. But I did want, so no castings yet that I'm doing except for this M4. Dig this casting. It is one of my favorite BMW castings, and they made it a 20-pack exclusive, and I had to get it. So where are we at? I'm going to talk about the M4. We'll finish off with this, and then we'll call it a day. The M4 is a casting that I've liked since it was released, and there's been some like BMW racing decos and things on this on the M4, but what I'm mostly concerned about are, as I've always stated, the clean versions. So let's get to those. And there's quite a few, and you can see why I bit and bought the 20-pack to get this whole collection going. There's your first issue. The colors on these are fantastic, and almost all, I think all of them have headlights and the grille detailed, and then tail lights. And considering, you know, the BMW M4 has the new grille, I like this one better, and so I'm really happy. And they just nailed this casting. The stance, the side, like the 3/4 profile is really nice on this. Just the angles of the car, the wide stance of it are really nicely done, and the colors are super unique. There's a second color. What's that color called? I know they put a few in that color. I don't remember. Here's the second year it was released was in red. They did this white version. They were supposed to put an off-centered stripe on it. I'm glad they didn't. There were some cards that actually had the off-centered stripe, but I think BMW nixed it late in the game, and then Hot Wheels just changed it to plain white, which is what I like. So I was happy to have that one. Then it was released in plain blue. There's like several wheel variations of this one. I'm only worried about the standard version with the J5s. Recolored in light blue. And then we've had the multi-pack exclusives. We've had this kind of matte burnt orange with the new wheels. So this one was released last year. The new like lace wheels or supercar wheels. This one looks good in burnt orange, nice and clean with the tail lights. There's the green one we already showed. Could have been an 8-pack exclusive, could have been a 20-pack exclusive, and now we have the black 20 pack exclusive. Oh, you get a better sense of the texture in the roof on that one. They've gone light colored on that. And there it is. There you go. I got a pile of models over here that aren't staying in the collection. A couple here that I'm considering in the collection. And these that are definitely going in the collection. The one that... This is the one that intrigued me most, just because the execution was just so well done. I don't know what to do with it. If I'm going to find a place for these Beetles in my collection, I don't know. I'll think it through. And I really need to consider, what do you think? Should I keep the R8? Should I go and pursue the yellow one and keep those? I might, because that's a really nice casting as well. And I've always been a big fan of the R8. And I love that baby blue. All right. You guys tell me what you think. What ones would you have kept? You agree with me? Maybe kept the Porsches. That RS is probably the best one of these multi-packs, I think. But I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. Thanks, everybody. Bye.